Hey everybody, it's me, Stock Picks by Tim. In this video today though, I'm going to be Crypto Picks by Tim, and I'm going to give you 5 cryptos to buy now, in my opinion. So we're going to look over these 5 cryptos. I'm going to give you some chart setups, going to tell you what I'm doing with each, and let's go over a couple of things. Now if you're new to my channel, I talk stocks usually, sometimes talk about cryptos, talk about crypto related stocks, post out daily videos. So if you like that, consider hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Definitely appreciate your support. If you're interested in any stocks or cryptos, check out the links down below, and everything I go over will be down below for you, as always. So let's get into this and go into the first crypto pick. And I'm sure many of you aren't going to be surprised when I say first off, you need to look no further than Bitcoin. If you're just now getting into the space, if you're just now thinking about getting into crypto, I personally think Bitcoin is the first one to start buying, and usually is the first one people start buying. And with Bitcoin, it's going to move the overall market. If Bitcoin goes up, the alts will likely follow. If Bitcoin goes down, the alts will drop as well. And I will show you on the chart that Bitcoin has been getting a nice push lately. We broke our previous resistance here set in the beginning of November, and it seems like we're working on breaking our most recent high before that point. And if we are able to get out of this roughly $23,000 resistance, our next resistance is likely to be the clean 25K mark. And you'll see this general area was a point of support, quickly bounced, and when it failed, it broke through it hard. I personally think we are going to come up to this as a resistance point, and a break of 25,000 could bring us quickly towards 30,000. And I say that because you can see here, we just had a clear move to the downside. We didn't develop any levels, and it's the same thing on the run up previously. Here in 2020, we had this kind of resistance right around 25K. Once we broke out, we continued farther. So I definitely think 25K is a crucial area for us to break out of. And if we can continue doing that, things will be looking great for Bitcoin, and therefore the overall crypto market. One thing you'll notice with Bitcoin here is we have been starting to trade sideways. We are consolidating, and our next run is about to happen here. It does look like our volatility is tightening up, and then we're going to get a move in either direction here on a break. And one thing you'll see that's very bullish is the 50 is continuing over the 200 MA. It even bounced right off of it here and continued further. And ever since we had our 50 to 200 MA cross here on roughly the 3rd of January, Bitcoin has been moving huge. But it's going to be very important to keep an eye on Bitcoin because this is obviously going to dictate the overall market. Now, the next crypto, if you couldn't figure it out, is going to be Ethereum. I'm not just going to simply go down the list. I'm just going to give you the 5 cryptos to buy. Ethereum just happens to be my second on the list, but I promise it'll get a little more interesting. But I do think Ethereum is the second crypto to buy now. And we do have news here that came out in November, so a couple months ago, that Ethereum became deflationary again. And this is basically when more tokens get taken out of supply than put into supply, which is always a good thing. But you'll see here from this article, it was talking about November. On a 30-day time frame, the Ethereum network has been burning ETH at an annual rate of 773,000 tokens, whereas what was issued during that time was 603. And at that rate, Ethereum is going down 0.14% per year. Although that doesn't seem like a lot, that's definitely better than Ethereum having a net gain in coins per year. And it says here, overall the network has burned 2.7 million Ethereum since this was introduced in August of 2021. So it's only been a little over a year. And one thing to think about is as people get into the space, as people get more into Ethereum, which I think is inevitable as Bitcoin continues up in price, as more people get into the space, the gas fees will increase, just as the gas fees lowered as people exited. Higher demand brings higher gas fees, and this will bring more ETH burning. And Ethereum getting burned isn't the only reason to be bullish on Ethereum. Another reason is we finally had a break of our descending resistance here. And it's been trading in this descending channel for quite a while now, ever since its peak in November of 2021. So we finally saw a breakout of this negative pattern, and we also see the 50 and 200 working their way up, curling upwards. That's a great sign. So you definitely want to keep an eye on Ethereum and watch this cross happen. We are getting very close to it. And this is the cross of the 50 and 200 MA. And before I get to the next crypto here, I did want to show you a long-standing, very important support general trend line to watch for Ethereum. And this was actually established in March 2020 at the bottom. And you'll see here this long-running support. We have continued to respect this trend line. So if we do start seeing a general pullback into February, maybe into March, you're going to want to keep an eye on this trend line and see that Ethereum doesn't break it. But I'm definitely a big fan of Ethereum, and it does deserve a spot on your list of cryptos to buy, in my opinion. I personally think the higher in market cap of cryptos, the higher on the list, the safer they are. And as you go down the list of cryptos in terms of market cap, you get a little more risky as you look further and further down the list of cryptos. Now next up, I did want to mention Cardano. This is one that I actually bought a little position in today. I do like to pick and choose my buys on Cardano here and there at certain times. Now one thing with Cardano is a lot of developer activity. We've got a lot of metaverse potential on this one. In one of my last videos, I talked about Cardano. I was mentioning this Pavia, but there are definitely a lot of other metaverses that are on the Cardano ecosystem. And as a side note, guys, if you're interested in a metaverse crypto video, I've definitely got some thoughts on that. But looking at Cardano on the chart, you'll see that we were in this long descending resistance here that was established early June of 2022. And we did just break out of it. That's definitely a good sign. And you're going to want to see how it performs on the 200 MA. We may find it as a resistance, start pulling back down, or we may break out of it and push further. But I definitely think Cardano has a lot of potential here in the 30-cent range. You might be thinking, hey, it ran up so much. It was just at 20 cents. I feel like if I buy now, I'm getting FOMO. Well, that's why you can simply DCA, keep some money on the side, ready for if it does drop. I personally think, when looking out, this definitely has a lot of climbing to do here to get back to its previous high. We're still talking almost a 10x. Not saying it's going to just do that overnight, but it's definitely something to think about when thinking of these alts, how much they have dropped. While yes, Ethereum seems a lot safer, seems like a easier way to go just because it's higher on the list of cryptos, you also have to think that, for Ethereum to get to its previous high, that's about a 3x, but for Cardano to get to its previous high, we're talking about a 10x. Now, as a side note, just because something was at a previous high before doesn't mean it has to get there, but it's definitely something to think about. Just how much some of these cryptos have in fact dropped. And next up, I want to talk about Litecoin. I have talked about this one previously, and I'm definitely going to be riding the hype on this one. Typically, with Litecoin's halving, when you get to about 100 days left, we start seeing a huge spike. It's already been kind of running up a little bit, and I think there's a lot more in store for this one. And if you're going to watch Litecoin on the chart, you're going to want to watch this general support. It is starting this uptrend, although it does seem like it's forming a wedge. It could break from this wedge pattern and pull back a little bit. Keep an eye on Litecoin. But it is nice to see that it kind of stopped its general downtrend direction. It does seem like it's picking a new direction, and it's in a general uptrend, which is great. But if you didn't know, Litecoin, just like Bitcoin, has a halving event, which plays a huge effect on supply and demand. Once the halving happens, the Bitcoin, or in this case Litecoin, that gets rewarded gets cut in half. So generally speaking, it hampers the supply. As long as demand stays the same, we will see a spike in price. Demand doesn't even have to increase necessarily. But as in history, we do typically see a little bit of hype coming up to the halving, and I am speculating that. So I'm getting ready to get into Litecoin before the 100 days to the next halving. And if you're curious about the halving, I will leave the link down below, what I just showed you a second ago with their halving countdown. And next up, I wanted to bring up Fantom. This is the smallest cap crypto on this list, and I definitely think it shouldn't be slept on though. When you look at their total value locked to their market cap, we're talking about almost $500 million in total value locked on this one, with the market cap only a little over $1 billion. And I definitely think it's quite interesting that you have a crypto that's so far down on the list, but it's so far up in terms of total value locked. It's in the top 8 on total value locked. Meanwhile, on CoinMarketCap, it's number 47 in terms of market cap for the crypto. So it's the 47th largest crypto out there. And you'll see that their ecosystem is quite large. They have a lot of farms or pools that support them, as well as a ton of dexes that support Fantom. And looking at the chart on Fantom definitely reminds me of Cardano. And you'll see just like Cardano is right around the $3 area at the peak, now sits right around the 30-something cents area, just like Cardano. And this one's seeing a very nice move on the chart. It did just break out of its recent resistances, and it's working on its next one right here at about 40 cents. So keep an eye on Fantom and see that it breaks this previous resistance here. And if it can break the big 40 cents, next up is 50 cents. The next resistance point. And you'll see here that we are literally just days away from a 50 to 200 MA cross. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that as well. Be aware that on the RSI, it's definitely a bit overbought, as is most cryptos, however. But I'm definitely a fan of Fantom, and that is another crypto that I picked up today. But let me know what you guys think of this list. Which cryptos am I leaving out? What's your top bullish pick and why? Are you simply just investing in Bitcoin, or are you spreading out your money a bit? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, got something useful out of this. I definitely think 2023 will be an interesting year for crypto, and I do think it'll be a good year. But thanks as always guys for watching, and have a good day.